and I stress share information. Meetings such as this typically take some time to put together. With the help of many, we've been able to organize this meeting in just a matter of days. Before I talk about today's agenda, I would be remiss if I did not comment on how unbearable all of this seemed right after Hurricane Sandy struck Fire Island. I am much more hopeful today. In just a few days, it is truly remarkable how a small group of men and women in Ocean Beach have come together and made dramatic strides in recovering our village. I am in awe of and owe many thanks to Mayor Jimmy and his administration, Village Superintendent Kevin and all of our village employees, George Hess and the brave members of our police force, and finally the Ocean Beach Fire Department, and of course most of all my husband, Ian Levine, one of our chiefs. To get our emergency services back in operation, clear streets of massive debris, and so much more. So much work has been done, yet there is still so much to do. Some of what must be done is clear. Much of this has yet to be determined. We all must understand and keep in mind that as much information as will be shared today, there are still many unknowns, and you can't expect to hear, I don't know, or we don't know, and we'll do our best to get you the information. Also, one thing has become abundantly clear to me. Ocean Beach's future is intertwined with the future of all of Fire Island communities. Therefore, we have invited and welcomed those from Ocean Beach's neighboring communities this afternoon. Let me now review today's agenda. Jimmy Mallett, our mayor, along with trustees Brett Pace and Matt Blake will provide an update. After 9/11, Rudy Giuliani was tagged as America's mayor. Well now, following Hurricane Sandy, I think we could call Jimmy Fire Island's mayor. On behalf of the Ocean Beach Fire Department, and George Hess will speak on behalf of the Ocean Beach Police Department. We will also have access to some FEMA information, and our Islip Town Councilman, John Cochran, is here today as well. Following these presentations, we will have a question and answer period moderated by Chris Norris. We are intent on ensuring that today's meeting is positive and is focused on how we now move forward together. We will not allow any questions from the crowd during the presentations. We will not. And we will not allow any questions on individual properties or individual homes during the question and answer period. Please try to keep your questions generic and of interest to the crowd. We know that many of you do have questions, of course, about your home, and the OBA will work with the village to get information to you on an individual basis in the very near future. After the presentations are done and we move into our question and answer period, we will invite Ocean Beach residents first to line up in the aisle. Chris Norris will be moderating this, and we will have Jimmy and the entire team that I mentioned earlier up here to answer questions. A couple other comments before I turn it over to Jimmy. We have a sign-in sheet for any of you that would like to get our newsletters during this post-Hurricane Sandy period that are not members of the OBA. Those are on clipboards on the pews, so please sign up. We also obviously invite you and encourage you to join the Ocean Beach Association, so there's a membership table outside. We've heard that many contractors have been difficult to contact, specifically plumbers and electricians, so most of you saw a table when you walked in with individual sign-up sheets if you would like to get a message to your plumber or electrician. We also have representatives from the major insurance companies, insurance agents here today. We have Chris O'Shea from Snyder Insurance, Jean Bartow from Bartow Insurance, John Cochran from Cochran Insurance, and Arnold Coxon from Lloyd's Planning. One final comment, Diana Hine is attempting to videotape today's meeting, and we will make that available on YouTube. Good thing I didn't realize that until just now. Many of our neighbors were not available to attend today, and we'll do our best to share today's proceedings with them. Many thanks to my fellow Ocean Beach Association board members, particularly our president, Edith Charlton, for her support. Just days after Hurricane Sandy, the Ocean Beach Association moved quickly to donate $10,000 to the Ocean Beach Fire Department. We encourage you all. Thank you. Rita Silver and her team on the Ocean Beach Community Funds will be making a sizable donation to the Ocean Beach Fire Department and the Ocean Beach Police Department as well, and has set up a matching grant for the Hurricane Release Fund, where they will match up to $5,000 for each of the communities that they represent. And there's more to follow on that, and Rita and Carol will be in the back after the meeting. So So without much further ado, let me invite Jimmy and his team up.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Are you Richard?
I'm just going to start, guys, by telling you, I know how freaked out everybody is by not being able to get to their property on Fire Island. We're working on that as hard as we possibly can. I want you all to understand the process of getting you back. We're working as a team out of Kismet, because that's the only place we could get to when we got there. The team works along with the town of Iceland and the Suffolk County. We can't do anything out there without getting approval from the town of Iceland and Suffolk County. We are still under an emergency declaration. Okay? That means we can have controlled reoccupation. Now, in order to control the reoccupation, we've decided that the best way to do it is to divide the island. We've divided it from Kismet to Ocean Bay Park is one block, and then Eastern Point of Woods is another block. The reason we've done that is because Fire Island ferries services from Ocean Bay Park to Kismet. That's going to be our entry point when you get to come back. Today, I'm sure you all know that we've had the year-round residents come back to collect their belongings. They were there for 6 or 7, 6 hours, 3 hours or something. The whole process went very well, and we're getting those people off. They came off at 2 o'clock. Okay, that went well. I talked to the command post in Kismet. It worked well for all the communities. That was our trial run. Now we go back to the town and the county and show them that we've done this. There's no hiccups, no accidents, no fires, nobody hurt. That's our main concern here, is safety. Now on Sunday morning, we're going to have a debriefing, and we're going to make reports on how this went. We will give a report to the Suffolk County executive and the town of Iceland executive. Then we're going back with Plan B. Plan B will to let homeowners come to the island on the same basis, which will be a short amount of time. There'll be 2 ferries over and 2 ferries back. We're hoping to get this done, and nothing is written in stone. We're hoping to get it done on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We've staggered it that way so we don't have 2,000 people on that ferry the first day. So you adjust your schedules for when you want to come out. Can you come out all 3 days? Absolutely. All you need to do is show your tax bill so you can get back on the island. There's no contractors. The contractors that are there now that are working for you are cleaning up your houses and patching them up. They're not doing any construction work. And we have our police force here that's making sure that nobody is doing that, okay? Nobody's putting new floors down. Nobody's fixing the kitchen. They're patching up the houses. Okay, so I'm going to try my very best to get this done this week. I hope to be able to tell you that I'll see you Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. After that's done, we'll go back to the table again on Sunday the 18th. We'll have another meeting there, see how it went, see what happened, and then we'll start trying to get the reoccupation going a little more access for everybody. We'll start the contractors boat, we'll start insurance boat. Everybody will be able to come over and do what they want. This all balances on LIPA. Okay? We still have no electric out there. They charged the Pines yesterday morning. There's electricity going under the bay to the Pines. None of the houses are on. Okay? The other line is coming in down at the lighthouse. One of the boxes there got washed away. They replaced the box. They turned it on. It blew up. They're replacing it again. They have a little bit of an issue down there. They have to trace a short. And they're going to get that up and running. Then they'll fire up Kismet. Okay, the next step is to go block by block by block by block till we get to your house. Okay? We've been around and inspected. Our first job when we got back there, just all these guys here, I couldn't do it without, we couldn't do it without each other. There has been nothing but teamwork. Our first order of business, and we met in the fire hall, and there's 40 guys and girls there that have taken care of everything in Ocean Beach. You'll get back there and they say, well, it doesn't look too bad. You know why? Because these guys work their asses off for 2 weeks, okay, to get that place ready. Our first order of business was safety. And our biggest concern over there now is fire. We got back there the first day. And the first thing we did was like, what do we do first? Let's shut all the gas tanks off. Let's shut all the electric off. We divided into teams. Everybody went every which way. We got block by block by block by block. The houses we could get in. We needed the plumbers over there. We needed the guys with your keys. We got those guys over. The next day, those guys were there. And Gary and Rennie and those guys brought their plumbers over. We divided their plumbing teams. We put 2 firemen and 1 plumber. 2 firemen and 1 plumber. We went up and down every street. We tagged every house. Gas off. Electric off. Couldn't get in. Okay? That's the way it worked, and that's the way we went. Most of the houses have flood damage. Okay? Flood damage is a big problem. The water comes up from underneath. You have wiring underneath your house. That wiring is compromised. Okay? When you go into your house and you see 2 or 3 feet of water, you'll see that line. You'll know that every socket under that line is compromised. That means you can't turn your house on. Okay? You can't turn it on. You've got to take those sockets out. Your wiring has to be redone. It has to be done by a licensed electrician, and the licensed electrician will get an inspector over there. They'll inspect your house and tell you it's safe to turn on. Okay? You might get back to your house and find the meter taken off. That means that you have a problem there that will have to be taken care of. I don't want to take up all day with this, but that's what's going on there now, and that's where we're going forward. Telling you what happened back there, it's history, it's gone. We're moving forward. You just have to know that the fire department, I couldn't say enough about those guys, Ian Levine, Joe Loeffler, Joe Boxbaum, I just name them all. I asked Joe to stick around. He was horrified. He's had a tremendous loss up at his house. I asked him, Joe, how long are you going to be around? He said, Jim, as long as you need me. I gave Joe, I asked Joe to stick around. I asked him to work with Kevin Shelley. Because I didn't have time to second guess what everybody was doing there. My job was to give people a job, let them go out and do their job. And that's what they did. This guy here, Kevin Shelley, he's the hero of this whole thing. Because he kept that town up. Water, the wells weren't compromised. On the night of the storm, I heard George Hass had to go out there and pull them away from the wells. He was putting plywood over the doors of the wells to stop the ocean coming in. It was banging against his feet, him and his brother. Okay? We had that sewer system up and running. He called me, he said, Jim, listen, I'm standing in 2 feet of water in a sewer plant smoking. I'm going to have to shut it down, okay? I said, Kevin, get the hell out of there. He kept it running. He kept it going. We had a generator going. Our sewer and our water has not been compromised, okay? And he's cleaned the streets. rewriting the rules. Every time we get something down, they change the rules on us, but we fought through it and we got it done. Ian and his fire department, Trustee Nolter is there taking care of the village while I'm not there tonight. Trustee Wyckoff is cooking for the fire department, and he's been cooking the whole time. We're feeding everybody there. They're getting 2 square meals a day. They get breakfast, they get dinner. What's left over, we eat for lunch. We have a 12 o'clock meeting in the firehouse every day. Everybody comes. Everybody voices their opinion. Some we push into the background, and some we listen to. So Dougie's there taking care of that. But they wish they could be here. And the fire department is working like a Swiss watch. We have a fire watch on the roof of Bill Sfingus' building in town. It's the highest building. And we decided the best thing that we could do was have a fire watch so we could watch over everything. You have to know the alarm's not working, there's nobody there. Before we got to the fire watch, the first day we got back there, we divide everybody up into teams. And everybody's working. And I'm coming back from Kismet, and I'm driving down on the beach, which is a whole other story. I'm driving back down the beach because it's low tide. I can see a big black cloud in Ocean Beach. And I know that's 13, it's a house fire. I shuddered. I wanted to turn around and leave. There was a house fire the first day on Surfy Walk. These guys put it out in no time flat. Otherwise, we would have had another breezy point on our hands. Believe me, there's nothing stopping that place from burning down even as we speak, except the volunteers that are there now. Okay, that's our priority, is to guard your property. We don't want anybody hurt, and we don't want anything to burn down. Your house can burn down and burn my house down. That's not happening on my watch, so you must have patience with us. Okay, they put that fire out, and then we decided on the fire watch. We have a building on top of Bill Savigas' now. It's a little hot. We can see 360 degrees. We've had a fireman and a policeman up there every night. The policemen are up there to watch out for looters. We've had a lot of boats coming by with lights, trying to find somewhere to dock, trying to find somewhere to land. Believe it or not, there are people who will rob you out there. Go figure. So that's going on now. Our firemen have been told to stand down there. Our police department is taking over that fire watch, which will be in existence for as long as we deem it necessary. Okay? Georgia's police department are now doing that because our fire department is standing down. These guys are going to get back to their own lives and their own houses and your houses. Back to our first order of business when we got there, I needed somebody in charge. Somebody that everybody went to report to. Somebody that could give me the information that I needed and everybody else the information. I thought it'd be the best thing to do, give it to the guy with a gun. Okay? He was a chief, and he was a chief for everybody. And everybody listened. He kept getting to put his hand on his gun. That's what he did. These guys were out there. Now, before the hurricane came, and we took every precaution we could out there to make sure that we were prepared. No one was prepared for this. No one. And the people that stayed there, I don't think they'll ever stay again. Yeah. It was very, very, very close. Okay? I told the fire department before we left, and the police department, listen, if you guys want to get out of here, you got your own homes, your own families to take care of. These 20 or 30 people know the consequences. So you guys can go home. I told them that. Chief and his men said to me, while there's one person here, we're not going to stand down. We're going to stay with them. And stay they did. And they've been nothing but a blessing to all of us. We had a tremendous lack of communication, and I don't mean back-to-back verbally. I mean emails, texts, telephone. We lost the Verizon out, the Verizon Mobile. We lost AT&T out there. We had no computer access. We couldn't give the information to you. Okay? We tried our best. We couldn't get it to you. And then a couple of days later, when we would get Matt out and Greg out there, they were my two communication guys. They've been working on it now. Matthew's also fire department. He's been doing his part in that too. They were our communication guys. They've been out there too. We've all been living out there. And these two guys also is around. Steve Branigan, our village clerk, called me up the first day. What are we doing? I said, you better find us a new village office. He said, where are we going? I said, anywhere you can find. Set us up somewhere else. He took the computers, what wasn't ruined. He took all of that stuff. He got our staff together. We have a village office up and running. You don't know how difficult that is to move that whole thing. The village office down there, we had a foot of water through it. It compromised most of the stuff in there, but we got what we could out of there. We're buying new computers, and our village's office is up and running through Steve and his staff. Susie Cafuco, Art, Carol, you know the people who are working. Thank you. Thank you. So, you know, that's as much history as we've got time for today, and that's what's going on out there. I'm going to take a little break here now. I'm going to ask George to say a few words, then Ian to say a few words, and Matt to say a few words, and pretty soon we'll get fed up and talking, and then we'll listen to your questions, okay? Thank you.
Well, I gotta say, it's a real pleasure to see everybody's face here tonight in support. Jimmy said, when things got a little hairy, we lost all communication with all of you. It's been so hard to get information out to you. I tried through Facebook, I tried through cell phone, I sat on a roof, I wore a tinfoil hat so I could get something out to you folks to let you know what was going on. But one of the things was the communication between this team. I have never been prouder to work with such a team. This man right here is an ox, a bull, a workhorse. I have never seen anything like it in my life. He went up to the ocean while the ocean was raging over the dune to save the wells. The mayor calls me, George, go get him. I went, are you kidding me? Go get him. So we did. Me, three of my guys, we put helmets on, our gear, our rain gear, you name it, boots up to here, and we trudged up Den Haag Walk, not knowing the ocean was raging down on us at this time. The dune split open, and the ocean was coming down. It was like a raging river. We had no idea what was going on until we got there. When we got there, we turned the corner. This man was muddy, soaking wet, full of sand. He said, I got the plywood on. And we walked home. That man saved the world. Now the mayor said we have the guns. There wasn't a big enough gun to take down this man. Ian and I we had our differences in the beginning, I'll tell you, but I'll tell you what. He's really stepped up. This guy in the fire department, they rolled up their sleeves, they put all their personal business aside, and they went to work. They cleared the streets, the trees, the sand. You're going to come to Ocean Beach and you're going to go, there was no storm. You're going to walk to the beachfront, you can change your mind a little bit, but I'm going to tell you, these men, they cleared the streets. The mayor said they released them to do their personal business. That was to take care of their own homes now. They put 9 to 10 days aside for everybody else. We all shacked up together, we lived together, we fed, we ate together, we told our stories about the storm together, but we got through it together. And that's what Ocean Beach, Seaview, Robin's Rest, and all of us are about, is togetherness. This is the best team I've ever seen. And I gotta say, as far as public safety goes, I mean, my guys are out there, they're watching your homes. We see these boats from we call it the Eagle's Nest, come up to the shore with these spotlights. We're down on that shore chasing them away, calling the Marine Bureau, making sure they're not trying to get in there and steal property. That is one of my concerns now, since things are starting to lay down and we're moving forward. But like I said, that's all I have to say as far as from my heart to you.
Before I tell you what I wrote down, I just want to say on a personal note, I've never been prouder to be a member and a chief of the Ocean Beach Fire Department. Over the past 2 weeks, I've had the privilege to work alongside with the men and women who have truly come together. Like George said, putting the village and the department's concerns well in front of their own. And working together to achieve one goal. That goal is to take care of Fire Island. And I think we did a great job, like everybody's been saying. There's a saying, it takes a village. Well, it took a little more than that. It took an island, and that island was Fire Island, and we got through it, and we're going to proceed, and we'll be open for business this coming summer, so we can all enjoy our homes. But it wasn't just an Ocean Beach operation. There were 9 fire departments. We all had the same goal, and that was to make Fire Island safe, and I think we did. In Ocean Beach, the 70 members put their lives on hold to accomplish this. Some of the goals that we've accomplished began before the hurricane even started. Preparing the village for the hurricane proved to be a far more intense endeavor than we could ever have imagined. In partnership with the police department, we did our door-to-door checks, which helped for a safe evacuation and good accountability of the few people that stayed behind, which I don't think will stay behind the next time there's a storm like this coming. Once we returned after the hurricane, our first business was to put the firehouse back in order, which we had to do twice because the nor'easter came and messed everything up again. We cleared our roads for firefighting. We worked on getting our water system throughout our whole fire district in order, up and running. We worked with the local electricians and plumbers on house inspections. Every house that there was a key for that we were able to get into, we turned off the electric. We righted up the fallen gas tanks. We checked the meter pans on the houses. We checked the poles on the houses. We also checked the wires and the poles in the delivery lanes just to make sure when we do re-energize the village, everything will be okay. Then we had to go out and inspect every fire hydrant. We had to dig it out from the sand that was burying it. Some hydrants we couldn't even find. We knew they were there, but there was so much sand, we couldn't get to it. Luckily, when we did this and had the water system up and running, we were ready for the fire that started. Jimmy talked about it. On Surfing Walk, we lost a house because of the storm. After that fire, that's when the fire watch started from the top of the building. It was dark up there, and I did it one night and saw things I never. It was enough for me. A lot of these goals were met twice, like I said, because of the nor'easter that came in afterwards. Now we're waiting. Our next big goal is to work with LIPA to turn on the village. Just a couple of thank yous. I'd like to thank my wife, Maria. She thanked me. I'll thank her. For Maria and the association for their hosting today's meeting and letting us speak to you to let you know what's going on. My phone's been ringing like crazy. I know George has, Jimmy's has, everybody's phone's been ringing. If we didn't get back to you, it's not because we didn't want to talk to you, it's because we were just a little busy at the time. Maria did the communications that everybody received, and I think she did a great job with that. She spoke with Jimmy, Matt, myself, George, every night, and she sent out the newsletter. The fire department, the members, I told them the other day about the donation that we received from the community fund, the $10,000. They were very touched by that. Someone in Summer Club, Lauren Eckstein Foreman, started a website called causes.com. And there's already $6,000 or $7,000 that's been donated there. Envelopes are coming to the post office every day. We appreciate it. We do need to rebuild the fire department. It's going to take a long time, but we will get it back, and we will be ready for the next alarm. Thank you very much.
next order of business here is to repair this beach. There are no dunes on Fire Island. There are no dunes on Fire Island. It's hard to imagine what it looks like. Our biggest problem now is how are we going to solve this problem? Well, that's where you guys come in. We need to petition everybody that we can. We need to make a coalition with Long Island, because Long Island got buried this time. From Lindenhurst to Mastic to Bayport to Blue Point to Montauk. They got buried this time too. And they realized that the natural levee for Long Island is Fire Island. And if we don't get this repaired between all of us, now when we have this opportunity, and we have this steamroller going, and we're going to miss what should be our greatest opportunity to do this. And we have Susie Goldhirsch here with us too, who's been communicating with everybody. And Susie deserves a round of applause for that. Fire Island Association is one of the biggest advocates for dunes on the beach. We have over 2 million cubic yards right on our doorstep. It's right in the Fire Island Inlet. And there's money out there, there's FEMA money out there that can get this job done. We can't do this piecemeal. We can't do this one dune at a time. We need to get the whole of Fire Island in this project. And that's your job. Matt's been the lead man on this, and I hope you've all seen his email that he sent out. And it's petitioning you guys to get in touch with anybody and everybody that you can think of to get this done. Okay? And we need that coalition. We need to work with it. We're going to be working with the other to get this done now. That sand is there. It can be started tomorrow. If Cornwall would say, start the engines, we'd start the engines, you'd see that stuff being moved. We got to get them off their asses. They got to do this. It's got to be done now. And you guys are the motor that can get this done. Okay? It's time for us guys to take a little bit of a rest here and you guys to carry this ball. And that's what I'm asking you to do right now. How do you do it? You do it by writing letters. You do it by making phone calls. Listen, this guy's done this. I don't have to answer. Another thing, Matt, take care of that. He took care of it. Let him talk about it.
I think how we execute on this is critical. As Jim said, one of our key vulnerabilities today and for some time in the future is the beach itself. We've put out a letter. We've referenced a bunch of different politicians and leaders from the mainland. We need to get everybody here behind this initiative in a big way. We need to write letters, and we have a petition here that we're going to hand out momentarily. We need signatures, and we're going to barrage these guys and get the sand that we need. Our island, we all love, but we also play a critical role in terms of protecting Long Island, and that is the message we need to get across every time we communicate with these guys. So if you want one of the letters and you didn't receive it that went out the other day, please come to me. We have about 50 or 60 copies. We're going to be filtering through with everybody to fill out the petition itself. It is vital that you put your name down, and it is also vital that it doesn't stop just there. You pick up the pen at home, you type away on your computer, and you send a letter to the people who are referenced on the communication. And if there are any questions, Mike and I are here to answer that. The mayor's here at the end. Just grab us. We'll spend as much time as you need.
We're holding questions until the end, please. Okay, we made that very clear at the very beginning. I'm sorry.
If you don't mind, now that Jim asked me to make a few remarks, Susie Goldfish, FIA. First of all, I want to tell you that I have been known to be in this church on Christmas Eve for midnight mass. It's an unusual perspective to be here today. But I feel it's an appropriate place to mention that during times of trouble, very often people say, you know, God gives you what you need when there's a crisis. And I got to tell you, whatever God you believe in gave us Jimmy Mallett in this crisis. Soller, the superintendent, says, we gotta have a meeting and figure out how to get people back on the beach. George Hafley, town advisor, we gotta get a meeting. We have to get everybody back on the beach. Talking to the command post, I don't know what to do. We gotta get a meeting. We gotta get everyone back on the beach. So I said, well, I'm here at a phone. I can make a meeting. Who should be at the meeting? I called 10 people, and everybody said, first of all, you have to have Jim Mallett there. I called Jim, and you can imagine what he felt like on that Thursday after the Monday of the storm. And I said, Jim, we need you. Friday afternoon, tomorrow, 3 o'clock, town voice will be there. And there was this long pause, and I said, Jimmy, we need you. We need the Ocean Beach model. The whole island has to do what you're doing, which is you have to be tough, you have to be strong, you have to delegate, you need a team, and you have to coordinate. And he said, I'll be there. Everybody got organized. We got everyone in a staged re-entry, getting back on the island, and all the other communities are cooperating. And I can tell you from the FIA point of view, I haven't heard one negative remark. Our community, our island tends to be tribal. We're a series of tribes. We're a series of people with their own culture. We have our own language. We have our own maps. We have our own people. In this crisis, the whole island is working together. As far as the storm damage to our beach, as far as writing letters, even before the storm, the FIA spent all summer. Joe Loeffler came with me, and John Lund from Davis Park, and people from other communities, and we went around to see Commissioner Martens, head of the DEC, Colonel Goulet, head of the Army Engineer Corps, Mike Moriarty, regional head of FEMA, Peter King, Congressman, County Executive Balone, County Executive of Suffolk County, Tom Croce, twice, Margaret Tobin, the governor's head of New York Works. We went to see her actually 4 days before the storm. I had so many meetings with so many officials that I had to buy a new business suit just to have enough outfits to go around. And everywhere we went as the FIA, Chris Soller, as Finn's superintendent, offered to go with us. He was at most of the meetings. And what we offered to every one of these agency officials or leaders was partnership. And what we said, which is what you see is demonstrated here, we're not victims, we're not whining, we're not asking for anything that anybody else doesn't get when there's a disaster or when there's FEMA money. We can do it ourselves. We know how to take care of the island. But what we need is to cut through the red tape. We have 1.8 million cubic yards of sand in the inlet even before the storm. There's got to be a whole lot more. There's got to be a whole lot more in there now. And what we said was, get us on the list. Let's get expedited. We need the sand. And everybody said yes. As a matter of fact, just before the storm, we had a meeting set up for November 15th, this week, with the head of or representative of every single agency that I mentioned, and then some. Because of the storm, that particular meeting, which was a meeting to say, okay, let's go for it, is going to have to be postponed at least a week or maybe more. But the same group is going to be brought together. Mario Basilico from Saltaire has been taking the lead with Chris Soller in inviting, convening all these agencies together. And we're going to make it happen. We have the support of the 2 senators. We have the support of Tim Bishop. We're going to make it happen, but as Matt said, we need letters. We need you to contact the people on that list. And we need to say, we can do this, we know how to do this, we are the levee system up the South Shore of Long Island, we are here as protection, and if we get hit again, we'll rebuild it again, and we'll be there, and we deserve the support, and I think we will get it. And I will tell you that I'm dedicated to getting it, so thank you very much.
Just a couple more words here. We have Councilman John Cochran here. I'd like him to come up and say a few words. John, with you, would you please?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm John Cochran from the town of Iceland. I'm going to use a couple metaphors. I hit the hat trick of life the last 3 weeks. I'm an insurance agent. I'm a politician, and now, when I got back from Iraq, I started an electrical inspection company. So I have to thank guys like Annie Miller, the mayor, and everybody's been patient trying to get hold of me. But growing up in Atlantique and going with the supervisor the day before the storm to meet with the mayor, and specifically tell the mayor that I appointed George Hafley to represent Far Island for any need. And I saw the kind of relief in the mayor's face, and we went to every community that we could go to. We're blessed in Far Island to have great volunteers, the firemen, EMT workers in the other communities. When I came in the day after the storm with Far Island Ferries to check the dock damage, we were met by the police force, George and his crew, and Ian walking around on your main street. What was it, about 2.5 feet of water there? It was sad. Just a river the day afterwards. We got hit with a 1-2 punch in the town of Iceland. At 1 o'clock, I had to take the county exec over because he didn't realize what Burma Road was, and they were going to do an AMPIT down Burma Road, which is about 15 feet wide. So Steve Malone and myself got in a police car. We made it to about Doomwood before we almost sank. That was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. When we were going over the bridge back, there were 12-foot seas hitting our bayfront. The Coast Guard station was getting inundated, and when we were driving over the Robert Moses Causeway, waves were breaking over the car, and then the stanchions and blowing over the car. So that was Monday afternoon, 50, 60, 70 out winds. And when that storm hit Jersey, we had 9 gusts, and at 9 o'clock, there was a 25-foot surge that wiped out Atlantique, Summer Club, pretty much hit hard, saving from the Ocean State, and Ocean Bay Park. I feel sorry for the homeowners that when you see the houses, and the debris didn't go on the beaches. Our beaches look like the Caribbean. As the mayor said, it's just white and wide as wide as the sea. But when you look at the bay, you see the bay, and that's the problem. In Atlantique, Hurricane Bell, the people that remember Hurricane Bell in '76, I was living in Atlantique, and they built the dunes up afterwards. All that's left of Atlantique are those metal poles from 1976. We in the town of Iceland want the safety of the Fire Island residents that are there, and we want to protect your assets. When you walk those beaches, you're looking inside your houses. It's almost bizarre in the sense that the kitchen cabinets are perfectly there with your glasses, where the whole front of the house is going. The TV's on the stand. The mayor already explained that we write some posts trying to approach our beaches. So we have a secure plan on there. It's hard to enforce. Fire Island is a big piece of property from Kismet all the way down to Ocean Bay Park. But we're trying with the town license assets, Suffolk County Police, as well as the Coast Guard. So it's starting, as the mayor briefed you, we're starting to get the freight boats running. We're getting the year-round residents taken care of. You got the schedule going forward, but we want to make sure we're protecting your assets because they're out there unsecured. So we're bringing our police force over. We did request the National Guard for the Fire Island, but that request was denied. That's how we feel that we want to protect your assets. We have a serious issue. 65 houses in the town of Iceland have to be demolition for this storm. So south of Montauk to Fire Island got crushed. And we have to sit there and look at every community equally. And we have the big things the mayor says with electrical inspectors. When we start energizing houses, some of the people's houses are going on fire. We lost several houses in Massapequa, Lindenhurst, and we had one start firing yesterday in Iceland. And it was approved electrically by Enlightenment. So we're taking each house, each block, each island very seriously. So I'll be here, as I said, I'm going to make sure I meet with the mayor, and when it's time to energize, I'll bring my whole electrical inspection crew over there and go house to house with Enlightenment. That's how important it is. This whole fire issue now with salt water and your electrical wires is very tricky. And I do work with Randy over at the beach and Coastal, so those are my clients anyway. So we're going to make sure we have the game plan for that and work with the police. And for the Ocean Beach Fire residents, you do have a really good cast of really good men and women that were there before the storm, during the storm, and after. Because we were getting calls from Millsy during the storm where they were rescuing the Hulkster, and they were saying that the ocean is going down, getting on and surfing. So it was a very traumatic day for all of us. So if you need me, I'll have cards here for town. We have an OEM set up. Rick Gimbel, who you might know, Rick, he's been helping us out with FEMA and everything else, a great individual. So we're going to Rick, but he's been been in the OEM for the whole 2 weeks, so we have some corporate knowledge and we try to treat everybody equally. So thanks again for having me.
Thank you, John. We have a little bit of a crisis going on even when we're here. LIPA now has told us that we can fire up our generators in Ocean Beach. We're not firing them up tonight. I have 12 firefighters there now. So I'm not going to do anything now. I'm going to tell LIPA, sit on it until we get enough guys there to make sure when this thing lights up, it lights up safely and we're there to protect your homes. That's what these guys are scurrying around town to take care of. As I said before, they're not going to do anything without our say-so. We're going to wait till tomorrow till we've got a full contingent fire department there to take care of any problem that can create. Throughout this crisis, I've been working with the OEM, the Office of Emergency Management in Iceland. I'm there nearly every day. I know I'm a pain in the ass to him. I have Tom Crocchia, I have his personal cell phone number in my phone. It rings, it rings, it rings. His voicemail's full. But Tom always gets back to me and he's been nothing but a help and he understands what's going on over there. He's been over there several times since this crisis began and he's on board with everything. But my lead guy that I always go to since I've been working for the village, working for you folks, is a guy named Rick Gilmore. He's been in the town there for I don't know how many years, as long as I've been around. He's a retired firefighter from New York, and he's been the lead guy over in Iceland for a long time. He's retiring from Iceland this week, and he's coming to work for Ocean Beach. Consultant for FEMA, not your consultant individually, but our consultant for the village. We can't take care of your FEMA problems. You have to do it individually. It'll be too much of a burden on the village. I need a whole other staff to start 600 files on 600 pieces of paper. But Rick is going to be our independent contractor to come and help us out to chase our FEMA money down, the money that we want, the money that we are going to desperately need. When I took this job, we had a file that was a FEMA file going back to 2007. And unless you stay on top of FEMA, you're not going to get that money. We figured that they owed us. How much money did this?
About 100,000 there. Well, no, we collected 250, and I'm still fighting for about 100 more.
So we figured they owed us $350,000. And we figured it was worth hiring somebody to chase that money. And that's what we did. And we've so far recouped from FEMA from many years back $250,000. And we have another $100,000 that we're waiting for from a storm that happened in 2007. Okay, so you have to realize how long it takes to get FEMA money. We're going to have Rick on board. Rick's going to be our guy to do this. He's going to be our liaison with the FEMA, and he's going to be the man we talk to. He has also been the emergency manager for the town of Iceland for Ocean Beach for a long time. He's been on board for a lot of hurricanes here. He got a lot of stuff done for us, and he's a very approachable guy. So I want you to stop and talk to Rick and thank him for the help that he's given us, and thank him for the help that he's going to be going forward. Okay? Rick, would you come up here so they know the face to talk to? This is Rick Gilmore. He's never strong as he was.
like to thank the mayor and the good people there. It looks nice up here to see people with better faces than I've seen in the last 2 weeks. I can assure you, from my experience, with the last storm we had, Hurricane Irene, I was able to collect $2.8 million for the town of Iceland. And that's been paid in less than a year. So you can see I have experience, and Susie will probably tell you, there's no one in my vocabulary. So I'm willing to work for you. I'll help you out. If you have any questions about FEMA, I'll be happy to answer you as a private citizen, because there's some things you have to do. And then we'll go to work and get money before you get that beach back in shape. The whole house, actually.
Okay, guys, I think Maria, now we're ready for questions and answers. So if you field them to Chris, and you know what I'll do is I'll field it out to the guys up here, and they'll answer your questions probably better than I can. Okay?
You're
the man with the plan.
So we would like to invite Ocean Beachers first. If you have questions that are that you think will be important to the crowd.
Hello.
Starting with Mr. Bloom. Thank you, Chris.
Regarding what Matt was saying before, I'd like to expand on that a little bit. Regarding what Matt was saying before, I'd like to expand on that a little bit. There's no question you're going to run into the let Fire Island go, it's a natural process, or it's climate change, or whatever. Bullshit. Fire Island Lighthouse is 5 miles from the end of the island from when it was built in 1858. That is what's going on. It's called the littoral current, and it moves from east to west, and it's been doing it forever. That Fire Island is growing down there. So you pick the damn sand up and move it back to where it came from.
Josh, we should do it quietly.
And if anybody says, it's just going to move back again, tell them, well, let's not cut the grass in Central Park, because that's going to grow back again. So just there, I know people are going to use this to promote their own agendas. It's important to realize Fire Island moved a little bit. Just got to adjust it back. It'll be fine.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. If you have comments, I just want to say that we have the petitions that I mentioned earlier at the back, so please do not leave before filling those out. It's going to require a few signatures, but please take the time to do it. Thanks.
And we all have a lot of questions. If we can be concise and put the questions for the team to answer, I'd appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Marlene Roth. I've got a comment and a question. The first comment is, please, may I suggest you send out a sample letter to the constituency?
Well, he'll repeat it.
Okay, the comment is, may I suggest you please send out a sample letter that you suggest we mail. You could send that sample to the constituency in an email, and people would be very happy to take that further.
We'll get that done.
Thank you. My question now is about FEMA. Sir, perhaps you might be able to address this. I saw Chris Christie on a newscast, and he mentioned, of course he was talking about New Jersey, but FEMA is federal. And he mentioned that FEMA was helping individual homeowners only with primary residence. Could you please clarify that? Because for many of us on Fire Island, most of us, I would believe it's a second residence.
I can answer that, and don't shoot the messenger. FEMA will only, I have also some sheets for you to fill out.